What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. I really appreciate each and every one of you for stopping by here tonight. Man, it was a crazy trading day. We saw stocks go down a ton at the beginning, then come flying right back up as all this bank news started really hitting the market. Watch SIVB, the Silicon Valley Bank. Obviously, that stock did terrible today. Didn't even open up, of course, but man, you can tell how much that stock was down, just dragging down every other bank like Bank of America, JP Morgan, and others as Silicon Valley collapsed. So let's go. Smash that subscribe button. Watch this video till the end. I think you guys will find a ton of amazing plays in here. But let's get right into what exactly happened in the stock market today, because it was a very mixed day overall. Like I said, we initially got that big push off to the downside, especially early on. Pretty much everything was down, whether you're looking at tech or banks or even like Walmart, for example, early on, in pre-market, had some hits down there at lows, but once the market opened, some key parts actually shot up today, and we actually ended up being green overall. Now, some of the safer stocks like Walmart, Campbell's Soup, Coca-Cola, those stocks were really running early on, but even tech ended up staging a humongous comeback. Microsoft ended up 2.6%. Meta was almost up 1%. Even some of these healthcare stocks were in the green. You can see that today there was a an amazing amount of green, in my opinion, considering everything that happened with these banks. And even some of the banks, they might not necessarily be banks, but they're in the financial sector, ended up popping up too. Now, most of the big banks are down, like Schwab, of course. JP Morgan actually almost came back today, which was very surprising. But Schwab continued down. Wells Fargo did terrible. American Express. Some of these bank stocks did worse than others, of course, like US Bank and Schwab, down over 10%. But it was just a very mixed day overall. Like I said, some of the highlights of the market were some of the food stocks, surprisingly, like Walmart, Campbell's Soup, KR, Kraft Heinz. Kraft Heinz had a huge run up there at open. So some of these stocks did surprisingly well. Others did surprisingly bad, of course, but the SPY did come back. Now, looking at some big levels for tomorrow on the SPY, there's a lot of big areas down here at the bottom that we're going to need to watch for as the CPI data starts to come out. So stick with us, guys. We have to go over the CPI data here in just a second. But the big intraday support I'm watching is really right around 384.50. That is a huge level, in my opinion. If we end up breaking under this, I think that we could end up moving significantly lower on the S&P 500 and on the overall market. So I'll definitely be watching this. Seems like a very big level for tomorrow. Now, to the upside, there is some pretty big resistance. So if we start to hit maybe like 389.50, up around 390, I'll watch that. I think 390 is going to be a huge level up there. As far as my personal opinions for tomorrow, I kind of feel like that we're going to fall down. And let's kind of get into that a little bit more with the inflation data set to release. So 1 hour before the market opens tomorrow, we are going to see some insane data come through. You might want to set your alarms a little bit early this time because, man, this is going to be a big report for everybody here in the stock market. Looking at the data overall right now, the core inflation rate previously came in at 5.6%, and the overall inflation rate came in around 6.4%. So what we really want to see is a continuation to the downside on these levels. You can see the core inflation rate. They're kind of expecting it to actually stay the same a little bit, which is kind of surprising to me. Now, with the overall inflation rate, they are looking for a bit larger of a drop, anywhere from like 0.3 to 0.4%. So I kind of feel like going into tomorrow, they're not really expecting a huge drop out of the core, which worries me a little bit. If this ends up coming in a little bit higher even than what we have now, imagine if core comes in higher, around like 5.7, 5.8%. That could really send us to the downside. And let's go ahead and look at a chart of the overall inflation rate, because on the last reading, it really slowed down. They were expecting a bit more of a drop, but we only fell from 6.5% down to 6.4%, which is the lowest in a long time, and we were still moving down. It's just that it was just a negligible move to the downside. We really want to see a bigger move than 0.1% down. Now, they are expecting a little bit larger of a move on this reading this time. like I said, like 0.3 to 0.4%. So let's go ahead and see what that ends up what ends up happening tomorrow. But I have a weird feeling this might actually end up making us move to the downside if inflation is not falling as quick as the market wants. And this could end up being a big snowball effect here, especially with everything else going on in the stock market right now. We obviously have all the big inflation data going on tomorrow, which is going to be huge, of course. But then we also have all this big stuff going on with the banks. So it just kind of seems like, I don't know, we have all this stuff going on with the banks right now. The feds are still hiking rates. Inflation on the last reading didn't come in as low as people wanted. I don't know. I kind of feel like that we're just kind of setting up for a bad move here. I sure hope not, though, and I hope that we can hold and move back up. But I will say, for all the puts out there, I think it's pretty nice. I'm not going to lie. I think the puts in the short term are the way to go. Like I said, and I think that some of these overpriced tech stocks like NVIDIA, AMD, Meta even, in the short term, some of these tech stocks are so high. Like if we look at Meta here, it even has a bit of like a lower high going on here on the daily, which is kind of interesting. So I will be watching this one for a continued move back down a little bit too, just pretty much with all the rest of these other stocks in these types of, in the tech sector pretty much. Of course, stocks like bank stocks, I'm going to be watching to the downside too, like Bank of America, Charles Schwab, AXP, which we actually talked about yesterday, which would have been a pretty good play today. Some of these ended up being amazing plays to the downside. So let's go on some of those. But man, I will say congrats to the put players today. I'm not going to lie. Waking up was pretty nice today. It was a good day. Hit me up in the comments down below if you guys ended up winning on puts this morning. Even if you didn't win, let me know in the comments how you feel about the CPI data tomorrow. Do you feel like that this will make us move to the upside or the downside? I kind of feel like that it's going to come in a little bit hotter and we'll move down. So just let me know in the comments how you guys feel. That'll really help us out. And it's always good to get a gauge on what the community is feeling here. But let's get right into some of these momentum plays for the next couple days. Looking at it for tomorrow here, one of the big stocks I'm going to be watching is Citigroup to the downside. I thought this was one of the worser moves out of the banking industry today. They ended up actually closing down around lows, even though a lot of stocks recovered back up, which was kind of interesting. Citigroup just kept going lower and lower today. If they break below 44.60, I'll be watching them for a push down to the downside tomorrow. And with the second momentum play for the day, we're looking at GLD or gold. It's a gold ETF here. This is awesome, guys. GLD was fantastic today. We talked about this in last night's video, and it continued to impress here today. So looking at gold, if we can break above 178.10 for tomorrow, I will watch it for a push to the upside. I think that gold and Citigroup could be two fantastic plays. Citigroup to the downside with all these bad bank moves. Gold possibly to the upside if we keep selling off. So let's see what happens. I really hope gold keeps going. I'll say some of the moves up today out of gold and some of the precious metals and stuff was kind of insane and shocking. I think that showed that a lot of fear came into the market the past couple days if people are starting to buy up gold again. I know usually gold is like one of the fear indicators that people watch, so keep that on the radar for the next few days. But I know we just did the momentum plays. Let's actually go over my plays for tomorrow. With my first one, I'm looking at Coinbase to the upside, actually. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what's going on here with Coinbase, but they had a fantastic run back up, as many stocks did. My watch list was tremendously green, especially with these growth stocks. They're actually like bouncing right around resistance at like $60.60 to around 61. So I'll be watching for a big push up through $61 tomorrow on Coinbase. If we can get up above 61, I think Coinbase could be a pretty good play for calls. As you can see here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. There's a nice double top going on. So am I just saying, oh, hey, let's play Coinbase calls tomorrow? No, I'm not. I want to see some solid momentum up above these levels here at the top. And when I say solid momentum, you might want to make like a 5-minute candle break above this, or hold above it, or maybe a 1-minute candle, for example, if you want to be a little bit riskier. But either way, make it break out above 61. I think that'll be pretty good. give or take a couple cents too. Like if you see it hit 61.10 and tank right back down, you got to be a little bit careful there on the number. With my second play, we're going to be watching gold again here, of course. GLD, one of the best stocks out there. Like I said, up above 178 could be a pretty good play. But I did want to add something back to the downside here, just in case, because it is pretty overextended. If you see an intraday move back under 176.90, go ahead and watch for some potential puts to the downside. I'm really leaning up on gold, but if we do fall down, I think puts could end up being pretty good. And with my third play, we're watching UVXY. How could you not continue to watch this thing? It's going crazy. Let's watch the VIX here really quick on the daily chart. Man, that VIX is actually popping up in a big way, all the way back up to our big trend line now. So I don't know. Maybe we'll start to consolidate back a little bit. Kind of strange to see it still sitting here right on the top of the trend. But I had to mention this because, man, we are just seeing this trend has been actually playing out so well on VIX. It's kind of like, I hate to say it, but it's kind of predicting some of these market moves we're seeing here. Now, obviously, it couldn't predict the banks going on or anything like that, but man, like if this starts trading back down to test this lower level again, I mean, we might end up seeing the SPY pop up for a few days. So just keep this on the radar. I think this is a very interesting play in the market, a good way to maybe like compare different parts of the market here as we go. But hey, if you guys are enjoying the video, smash that like button. Leave me a comment down below on how you think the CPI data will go tomorrow. That will really help us out. And hey, let's get right into our big money play of the day. I saw $1.5 million go into a bank stock with calls. And these calls are kind of short term, like right around the money, which is kind of weird to me. So I'm looking at Wells Fargo 40 strike calls that expire on April 21st, 2023. So looking at these calls here, I mean, I just don't know what to even make of these guys. It's pretty insane. I can't believe that I saw this today. I feel like that these might be shorted, but at the same time, with the way the market ripped back up today towards the end, I don't know. I mean, who knows? They could be longing these. And if they are longing them, it's a very interesting play here back to the upside, especially with all that downside movement coming in. Maybe they're expecting just a couple days of uptrend coming back. These do expire in about a month. It is a little bit shorter term, though. I don't know. It's a tough play for me. I like it. I kind of like it, though. If we look at the intraday chart of Wells Fargo, they closed down pretty low. So I don't know. That makes me feel like they're shorting it, but maybe they're holding a bunch of shares. They're trying to make some premium in the short term. It's hard to say, but I almost think that they're longing this. So keep it on the radar. Very interesting play, though. A lot of money into some bank calls. Now, I did see lots of money go into bank stocks today, so keep that in mind. There was quite a bit across the board, if we're being totally honest. And thank you to our member of the day, Trap Money Benny, I think it is, or Trap Money 6any. I'm not going to try to explain it too much, but hey, thank you for joining the Discord. Thanks for always being active and being such an amazing member of the Discord. You've been very active the past couple weeks, so thank you for that. And thanks for joining up. And hey, if you guys want to join the Discord, check out the links down below. You guys will get access to the unusual options plays before they come out, and tons of other amazing setups throughout the day with the sniper bot, and tons of other amazing stuff. Like even the free day trades from Mike and myself are fantastic every morning. So check those out. There's even a free news channel, earnings tab. So there's a lot of stuff in there. So check it out, guys. And as always, have an amazing rest of your night. Let's bring in some money tomorrow. The SPY's in a very interesting spot. We have the CPI data looming. I kind of feel like it's going to make us move to the downside. Let me know if you guys think I'm wrong. If you think it's going to go up, let me know in the comments. I'll definitely appreciate that. Other than that, have a fantastic rest of your night, and let's kill it the next few days.